5 questions for atheists from 2 Christians. Question number 1, what kind of evidence would it take for you to believe in God? Okay, I suppose good market research, find out what your customer wants. The problem here is that I already know what you're selling, and I also have a pretty good idea that you're simply trying to repackage the same old product in a way that I find more palatable, and generally fail. Sticking a new recipe label on something doesn't always mean that much. Part of the frustration that I feel, and I'm pretty sure many fellow non-believers share, is that believers ask the same questions over and over again. It's almost like I'm stuck in that episode of The Simpsons where the kids want to go to Mount Splashmore. Do you think that if you ask the same question over and over again, at some point you will miraculously get the answer you want? The answer to your question is, always has been and always will be the same, and it's this. The evidence I'd require to believe in God would be evidence that cannot be explained by any other reasonable means. And let's be clear here, I'm not talking about the God of the gaps, where if we don't have an explanation, then God did it as the default answer. I'm talking about something that is totally incongruent with all existing scientific understanding. What I would require is evidence that stands up to the same level of scrutiny as the evidence that supports theories about, say, aerodynamics or magnetism or genetics. If you could produce that kind of evidence, I'd have no choice but either to believe in the God to which your evidence points, or just delude myself into a state where I ignore what all the evidence tells me, and then carry on believing what I want to believe. And I think that would be more than just a little bit crazy. Than you. The conditions you place at the end of the question give a good illustration as to why you're going to have problems producing that evidence. You say all-powerful, and then place limits on that power. You say all-loving, when I can look at the universe around me and see evidence that precludes the existence of an omnibenevolent, omnipotent being. So the question you're asking is not what evidence do I need to believe in God, but what evidence do I need to believe in your God, already defined as logically contradictory? Pretty compelling evidence, I think, is the answer to that one. Question number 2. Is there anything you can do that could possibly convince me God exists? Well, yes, of course there is. This is a repeat of the first question. The way you convince me that your God exists is to show me the evidence. The argument you'd need to make is that the evidence you provided is explained best by the existence of your God, and by no other reasonable means. Question number 3. If I believed in an all-loving God existed, would I want to have a relationship with him? Well, my answer to that one is very probably yes. I think it's human nature for us to seek out people whom we like and who like us. And I can extend that to non-human entities as well. Dogs are good examples. Question 3b. If the answer to question 3 was yes, would it be to get into heaven or for some other reason? Well, just being friends with someone so that you can get what you want from them sounds a bit mercenary to me. And I'd like to think that I don't have that gold digger mindset. I think that my reasons for wanting a relationship with an all-knowing, all-loving God would be the same as for a human being who is loving and intelligent. They'd be good company. Question number 4. Have I ever met a Christian who lives their life in such a way that it's clear they believe in an all-loving God? Meaning that they lead a life that is impressively kind, loving and selfless. There are 2 questions here, and the answer to both is no. I don't really think I know that many overtly Christian people apart from those that I see on YouTube or in the media. Here in the UK, religion is largely considered a private matter rather than as a badge of social acceptability. In my life, I don't think I've seen a single person who claims to be a Christian who matches the criteria you mention. Although I will say that I've met a few people who try and who come across as good people. Whenever I look at these people, though, it seems that they're more motivated by humanist qualities than by Christian ones. Question number 5. Has the presence or lack of that kind of person had any impact on my atheism? I found this question quite thought-provoking, and I'm not sure I can give you a meaningful answer, although I feel that the best answer is probably no. I was brought up in a household where religion didn't really feature. I think my mother believes in some of the Church of England's philosophies. I know my father is an atheist. I'm an atheist probably because I wasn't indoctrinated with any religious belief, not because of any absence of good Christians in my upbringing. I expect that if they'd been brought up in an environment where I was taught to believe in God and Jesus in a certain way, and was surrounded by people who exhibited none of the positive qualities you describe, then I would probably still believe in God and Jesus, if I was a member of the Phelps family, for example. Part of the very real danger of religion is that it doesn't rely on role models to justify its teaching. People are more than happy to say one thing and do quite another. Often, it's almost as if the people preaching this stuff and signing up to it don't really believe it themselves. If they did, I think most of them would conduct themselves with more dignity, compassion and wisdom than we see in reality. Even if I did see exemplary behaviour from Christians, I don't think it provides any evidence for or against the existence of an omnibenevolent God, only their belief in its existence. Their behaviour may be as a result of their being genuinely decent human beings, or it could be that they're psychopaths who just go through the motions so that they appear as such. In either case, it provides no more evidence for or against the existence of their God than for or against the existence of Santa Claus. The voices in your head may tell you to do something you want to do anyway. They may tell you to do something that you know is wrong. In neither case does it mean that the CIA are actually sending you coded messages through your fillings.